أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد،
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد،
وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم من يوم ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد وفرقان الحميد وقوله الحق: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فضل الله المجاهدين على القائدين أجرا عظيما. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have reached the halfway point for the scheduled 10 nights that I am to be at your service. Before we begin tonight's discussion, I would like to share with all of you something very personal. And the reason for why I have decided to share this with you, as the Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna fi dhalika la'ibara, with the hope that there is a lesson within it. It was last year, and I had just finished reciting the 4th night majlis in Dublin. After the majlis, the residence where I was staying, I went back. And in the morning, I have a heart attack. I'm taken to the hospital, and I still remember what the doctor said. They said that this man is very lucky, for if you did not ring the ambulance in due time, and if you were not living so close to the hospital which specializes with heart surgery, then this man would not be with us right now. And as it's expected, something such severe is very difficult for one to handle, and especially for one's parents and family. However, after constant scans and visitations to the doctors, they came to a conclusion. And they said that there is no cause that we have found for why you had a heart attack. You have no cholesterol, your sugar is not high, it's not inherited, you look fit and healthy, you're not overweight. We do not know the reason for this. And the last expert that I talked to, they said to me that the only conclusion we came to after all the studies we have done is that you were unlucky. And it reminds me that the doctor that was dealing with me in Dublin, he told my family members that when we were operating on this man, The rest of his arteries and veins were so clean, we had never seen arteries so clean as we have seen. It was just this one artery toward the left of his heart. We don't know why. It became blocked. Therefore, brothers and sisters, I myself have been given life for the second time. Therefore, as we mentioned right in the beginning, take these majalis very seriously and make sure that you treat your lives as if it's the last day you are living. No one has seen tomorrow. If you have made someone unhappy, make sure that before you go to sleep, they are pleased with you. If you owe somebody money and you are able to give it them back, give them back their money. Life and death is in the hands of God Almighty. And death does not understand the philosophy and logic that we have. That when a person becomes old, they will go. No. I'm a prime example of that, brothers and sisters. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. And just to link the previous discussions with tonight's discussion, and for the benefit of those brothers and sisters that may not have been present in those discussions that we had previously, in the beginning we discussed that there are etiquettes to Muharram, and the fact that we establish and we come to these majalis is something that the Ahl al-Bayt alayhimus salam not only yearn to do, but it is something that was set up by the infallibles. And these majalis are a series which were founded by no one other than the daughter of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zainab, salamullahi alayha. Who after the tragedy of Karbala, wherever she would get time and wherever the caravan would halt, she would do the bayan and express and illustrate to all the people there what happened to her brother and the individuals and companions with Hussein alayhi salam. So these majalis are not something new. And we find that these are a series that were established by the daughter of Ali. Considering the discussions that we have done, as a speaker I have majalis that are prepared, and in my mind I have planned them and I have noted them, but sometimes considering the situation of a community, or whereby I deem a certain topic or subject to have more value for my listeners, I will change the topic. And that's what I've done tonight. And inshallah, God willing, in the coming nights, I will try and mention some of the points that are very valuable that I was supposed to be talking about tonight. And if not, then inshallah in the future, if we meet again, we will try and discuss those topics that I have not had time to discuss. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. There are many questions that as a speaker or someone that goes into different communities that I get asked. One of the most common questions is, how did you become a Maulana? Very common question that I get. That what was your inspiration? Why did you go to the Hawza? Why did you go to Iran? All these questions to do with why I chose the field that I entered into. And we find that the reason why I want to discuss this, brothers and sisters, is because it also gives the answers to other questions which may arise. People ask the question, what is the difference between someone who has gone to the Hawza and sits on the pulpit and gives lectures, and someone who goes to university or any other classes and comes to the pulpit and delivers lectures? Other questions arise. That what is the difference? How do we know who's right? With the discussion that I have planned today, brothers and sisters, tonight, Inshallah, a majority of these questions will be answered. Now, what is the best age to go to the Hawza? I say the younger an individual is, the better. Why? Because the studies in the Hawza, brothers and sisters, they're unlike the studies that you do here. Maths, for example, geography, physics, chemistry. All these lessons and sciences that you learn, they're very much different to those taught in the Hawza. So I always suggest that if there is a brother or sister that wants to go to the Hawza, try and go when you are younger. Why? Because you are coming across sciences that have nothing to do with what you have learnt whilst you have been in the UK, for example. So it's vital that you try and go when you are young, because when you are young, you are able to learn a lot quicker. You absorb knowledge a lot better. So the first thing is that you go when you're young. What are those sciences that you learn in the Hawza? It surprises you sometimes that people, how oblivious they are on what we learn and what we are taught in the Hawza. The first thing you do if you go to Iran, you will learn the Persian language for 6 to 8 months, depending on how strong you are and how you pick it up, and your progression from 6 to 8 months, you will learn Farsi. If you are a little bit slower, a year, for example. Depending on you, you will go through the books of Farsi and you will learn the Farsi language. Why? Because you are going to be living in this country, so therefore you need to know how to communicate. Your lessons are most likely to be in this language, therefore you learn the language that you will be dealing with. Now, as I mentioned, step by step, in the back of your mind, you have to have a tally of the years I'm talking about. Because again, like I said, there are many questions that arise. What's the difference between this Maulana who studied 20 years and this Maulana who went for 2 years? This, what I'm discussing, will answer those questions as well. So let's just say, for argument's sake, it takes you a year and you have learned Farsi. Then after Farsi, you will go and you will learn the introductory courses in different sciences. This includes fiqh, jurisprudence, theology. This includes Arabic grammar. Now, Arabic grammar, brothers and sisters, is not a walk in the park, believe me. We have been studying for nearly 10 years and we still study Arabic grammar. And now that it's come, I'll mention it. We find that the most difficult language in the world, due to its depth in meaning and its eloquence and the masterful linguistic attributes that it has, is the Arabic language. For example, within English, you have a word with 3 letters. B-A-R, bar. It can mean, for example, a chocolate bar. It can mean a place where drinks are served, a bar. It can also come in the meaning of accept. For example, everyone is sitting on the floor, bar Sheikh Abbas, meaning accept. So it has 3-4 meanings. However, look at the Arabic language, brothers and sisters. A 3-letter word like Ayn, Ayn, Ya, Noon. It doesn't have 3, 4, 10, 20, 30, 40. It has 70 different meanings, brothers and sisters. Look at the depth of one word. Ayn means a spring of water. Ayn means a spy. Ayn means eye. Ayn means a specific amount of gold. Look at all the different meanings. And that's why till today when we read the sentence, Ishtaraytu aynan, I bought an ayn, we don't know what it means until we look at the context. Also, the Arabic language, within it, some claim that there are over 20 sciences within the Arabic language. Now what do I mean? Arabic is divided into sarf, morphology, into nahv, the grammar of it, into balagha, into badi', into prose, the normal text that we read and write, into poetry, and other divides of the Arabic language. So therefore, because the religion of Islam is a religion which deals with the Arabic language, as a student of the Hawza, it is vital that I study the Arabic language. Is everybody with me up to now? If you're not with me, then recite aloud salawat. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So the Arabic language is extremely important. Why? Because the religion of Islam, the Quran, the Hadith are in the Arabic language. And note one thing, when it comes to religion, brothers and sisters, we are always going backwards. What do I mean by this? That because we are trying to understand a religion that was revealed over 1400 years ago, we go back in the sense that we are trying to relate and understand reports and traditions that were revealed 1400 years ago. So therefore, like in Manchester, in Birmingham, you have specific terminology, you will have specific slang. At the same time, in the Arab society, over 1400 years ago, there was a specific dialect, there were specific proverbs that were used, there were specific metaphors that were used. Therefore, as a student that wants to understand the hadith of the Prophet who lived 1400 years ago and above, I need to understand the language, the literature, and the lughat that were used in that time. Otherwise, I will read a hadith and I will not have any understanding of what it means. So, after I have learned Farsi and I have learned some basic fiqh and ahkam and tawheed and adl in theology, this is my first part of the Hawza complete, which is 2 years. And again, brothers and sisters, this depends on how fast you move. There's some people that it takes them more time to understand, it takes them 3 years. But for argument's sake, now we're at 2 years. And what have you learned up to now? Just Persian, basic Arabic, very basic fiqh, how to perform wudu, what your prayer is, zakat, khums, very basic. And now you have finished the first madrasa. So 2 years and you have literally learned nothing. Then what you do is you choose a madrasa or a school to go into, where your actual Hawzawi and studies of the seminar will take place. Now, myself, we chose to go to an Arabic school, so that our dars, our lessons would all be in Arabic. Others may choose to go to those schools where the durus and lessons are in Persian. I've also heard nowadays they are giving classes in, for example, Urdu and English. In our time, if it existed, it was very unknown. However, these are the main two languages that the durus and lessons are taught. Now, because you have a small base, you begin to build on this base. Me personally, when we went into the Arab madrasa, we have no clue of Arabic at all. We couldn't speak, we couldn't understand Arabic. It's a bit like French now. If I was to start speaking French, you would just look at my face and think it sounds nice. So when we went into the madrasa, we would look at the scholars speaking Arabic, it would sound nice, but we didn't have a clue what they were saying. With time and with hard work and with studying and persistence, we began to understand the Arabic language. We didn't go to any classes to learn Arabic like we did for Farsi. Like we did for the Persian language, we didn't go. However, after constantly going to the classes and listening to the teachers and trying to read and trying to understand, slowly, we learn Arabic. And the classes begin. So every science that you had studied before, now you study the same sciences, however in more depth. And this is very important, brothers and sisters. So remember, we studied, for example, Arabic grammar, sarf, nahv, balagha. Now you start to study those books which are more detailed. And when I talk about detail, we are talking about, for example, books like Ajrumiyya, Awamil in Nahv. We are talking about, for example, Al-Bahjatul Mardiyya by Suyuti. Now Suyuti is a very noble and respected scholar of the Ahl Sunnah. Which brings me on to a very nice point. sometimes our respected brothers from the Ahl Sunnah and Jama'ah school of thought, they don't know that we study their books also. In the same way that, for example, in Al-Azhar in Egypt, they study the Kafiya of Radi, which is a Shia scholar, in Arabic grammar. They study our books and they study the Nahj al-Balagha in grammar. We also study the books of their scholars in Arabic grammar, for example. Whether it be the Bahjatul Mardiyya of Suyuti, whether it be the Sharh Jami of Jami, whether it be the Mukhtasar of Taftazani, whether it be the Mutawwal of Taftazani, we study their books also because it's Arabic grammar. And this is very difficult Arabic grammar. For example, when you look at Sarf, morphology, in English there is no feminine and masculine. In Urdu there is. Ti, ta, for example, ay, aya, there's masculine and feminine. In Arabic, when it comes to Sarf, there are 14 different terms that are used for different aspects, different present tense, past tense, it's all different. For example, if you wanted to say that one man ate food, akala, akala. Two men ate food that are not present, akala. This la at the end represent the dual form. So akala, akala. Now I want to say that 3 and more men that are not with me ate food. Akala, akala, akalu. Akalat, akalata for women, and then again men. There are 14 different ways of saying one thing, depending on who you are addressing. I know it might go completely over the heads of some of my respected brothers and sisters. However, if this is the case, and it's something that you don't understand one thing, that those that understand this and that have been through this process, you should respect them at least. We'll come on to it inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So this is just Sarf I'm talking about, morphology. And the different abwab that a word is taken into. It's a long discussion. I don't want to put you to sleep. So this is just Sarf. Then we have Nahv as well, and Balagha and poetry within the Arabic language. Then we have, for example, Kalam, theology. We already study very basic theology. Now we read those books like Bab Hadi Ashar. We start to read the Sharh Tajreed of Nasiruddin Tusi. We start to study those books again that are from the Ahl Sunnah and Jama'ah school of thought. What do they believe in when it comes to the attributes of God Almighty? What are their views about the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What do they think of the Day of Judgment? What do we think? And there's a whole discussion on theology. Then we look at, for example, books in jurisprudence. So we start with purification. Me and you, when we do wudu, we think it's easy. 2 washings and 2 wipings. But I challenge you, go into the Quran and look at Surah Ma'idah when it comes to the verse of wudu. Even read the translation. And you think that Ahl Sunnah, they are washing the feet when it says, we wipe the feet. The Shias are doing this, where it says do that. When you read the verse and take it for black and white what is written, neither the Sunnis or the Shias are doing wudu correctly according to the verse black and white. The ulama make it clear that the verse of wudu, for example, it only explains the areas that need to be washed and wiped. However, how they are washed and wiped, we need the riwayat. We need the ahadith. And this is another science which is discussed. So we have fiqh, we have kalam, we have hadith. What is hadith? What are narrations? What are reports? What are traditions? We find, like we mentioned before, because we are going back in time and trying to put ourselves in a position where the Imam is delivering the lectures and saying the ahadith. Because this is how it was, brothers and sisters. This is not new, as I mentioned. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam would sit and he would give a lecture like this. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam would sit like this and he would read the hadith and give lectures like this. However, the difference is because what they said is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it becomes a riwayah, it becomes a narration. It has authority. It's hujjah upon me and you. So therefore we have to look at the riwayat, the texts. And in order to understand what is right, what is authentic, what is sound, what is reliable, you need to study other sciences like Rijal. Rijal is a science which deals with those individuals who report a hadith. The narrators within the chain of narrations that lead us to an infallible, they are the Rijal. Rijal within Arabic basically means men. However, in this science refers specifically to those men and women who narrate a hadith, who transmit narrations. And this is again not an easy task. Let's say, for example, within one chain of narration to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, there are 100 individuals. Now as a scholar we have to sit down and we look at from the Prophet downwards, who is this individual? Who is this individual? Is he a companion? Is he a post-companion? Is he known for telling the truth? Is he known for lying? What school of thought is he from? Is he a Shia? Is he a Sunni? What is he? What are his beliefs? Therefore we have books, brothers and sisters, that are devoted to writing about narrators, books of Rijal. Some are in alphabetical order that will start with, for example, Adam bin Zakaria. Who is Adam bin Zakaria? He is a scholar, he is a companion, he lived in this time, he has these books. Is he reliable? Yes or no? We have to do this to every single narration that we have, brothers and sisters. Then, just to expand on one other point before we move on, when it comes to the books of fiqh, what is legal, what is illegal, what is wajib, compulsory, what is forbidden? Fiqh within the ahadith is referred to as Ummul Ulum, the mother of all sciences. So therefore, if we study tafsir for fiqh, if we study theology for fiqh, if we study ahadith for fiqh, if we study rijal for fiqh, everything returns back to fiqh. Why? Because we want to know what is halal and what is haram. We want to know how to pray. We want to know how to do wudu. We need to know how to dress when we go to Hajj. All of these laws are extracted from all of these different sciences. Therefore, when I read a verse of the Holy Quran and it says yudhiba and not yadhabu, if I have learned Arabic, brothers and sisters, and I am aware of the different meanings, only then can I speak and say this is what the Quran is saying. It's only then. And some of the books we study, brothers and sisters, are 10 volumes. Lum'at Dimashqiyya was written by Shaheed Awwal, who was killed in 786 of Hijrah. 786. No one will forget this date now. He writes a book whilst he was in prison within 2 weeks by the name of Lum'at Dimashqiyya. The book is approximately 50 pages long. Lum'at Dimashqiyya by Shaheed Awwal in the 8th century, is killed in 786 Hijrah, writes a book out of many books that he has. He only lived to the age of 55, and Shaheed Awwal is a whole discussion by its own, but I'm going through quickly. Shaheed Awwal writes a book by the name of Lum'at Dimashqiyya. It's killed, it's only 50 pages long. However, it's a book on jurisprudence which discusses the whole fiqh, from purification to blood money, from tahara all the way to diyan. 200 years later, Shaheed al-Thani, by the name Zainuddin al-Amili, comes and writes a commentary on these 50 pages of Shaheed Awwal. He names his commentary, which is 10 volumes, by the name of Rawdatul Bahiyya. A book which is written by Shaheed Awwal, took 2 weeks, and it's a complete guide to fiqh. Shaheed al-Thani comes and writes a commentary in 10 volumes. It takes us something which was written in 2 weeks, 5 years to study. It takes us 5 years. For me and you to say a book was written in jail or imprisonment in 2 weeks, which covers the whole of fiqh, is easy. May Allah have mercy on the souls of our scholars who were brutally killed so that me and you know how to pray. So me and you know the timing of the fast. And like I did ishara and I hinted to either yesterday or the day before, where ulama are under attack. When the same ulama are being killed, and this is continuing till today, brothers and sisters, those individuals that have devoted their lives so that me and you know how to practice Islam, we speak the way we speak about them. We say, oh, Malana doesn't know. The way we talk about them. Brothers and sisters, anyone who has gone to the Hawza and has gone through the syllabus and have devoted their lives, as we mentioned yesterday, looking at their face is deserving of reward. It's worship. This is not me saying it, brothers and sisters. This is Imam Sadiq alayhi salam saying this. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Coming back to where we were, 2 years in the beginning and 4 or 5 years depending on how quick you move again to do the intermediate courses on books that are at a slightly higher level. 2 and 5 equals 7. So 7 years we are in the Hawza now, okay? Then we find that the books that you have studied, some individuals like me might study a book which is a textbook of 2 volumes twice. To get a better understanding of a certain science, we might go through a book which is 2 volumes twice. Then we find that after one has completed these books as well, they start to study books which are in more detail. For example, when it comes to the books of Sheikh Al-A'zam Al-Ansari by the name of Rasail and Makasid. Makasid are books, it's 5 or 4 volumes, depending on the edition, which solely deal with transactions. What can I buy? What can I sell? What's haram to buy? And again, it's very easy when I say it like this. Where interest is halal, where interest is haram. Where can I bank? Where can I put my money? Where can I invest it? This is Makasid. And then you have Rasail, which are the books before the final book of Usul in the principles of jurisprudence. Just to quickly explain what Usul is. Usul refers to those principles that teach us how to practice fiqh. One of the many principles within Usul is كل شيء لك طاهر حتى تعلم أنه نجس. And this will help you practically as well, brothers and sisters. There's a reason I chose this principle. The principle teaches us that everything for you is pure until you know it's najis and impure. This is a principle we learn to apply into fiqh. So I walk into the bathroom or toilet and I see that the floor is wet, or the toilet seat has moisture on it. Is this najis or is tahir? This principle teaches us كل شيء لك طاهر. Everything for you, brothers and sisters, is clean, it's pure, until you have certainty that it's impure. So therefore, when I walk into the toilet and then I come out and I see my trousers are wet, or I sit onto the toilet and the toilet seat is wet, I do not know whether or not it is urine. It's a very important point, brothers and sisters. I do not know. For me, it's tahir, meaning that I can pray with this moisture on my body or clothes. This is one of the many principles that we learn, because we see within our societies that people have this waswas where they will go into the toilet for 3 hours and they are still cleaning themselves. Habibi, that's it, it's clean. You want to clean the bones as well? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The brothers are requested to move forward so those that are joining us, they don't have difficulty. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. For the hastening of the reappearance of the 12th Imam, recite the loudest of salawats. So, 7 years, then we mentioned that there's books like Rasail and Makasib, which are 4 and 5 volumes. Another 4 to 5 years, brothers and sisters. Like I said, this topic requires more discussion. However, I'm going through it quickly. So, we have 7 plus 5, 12 years. Then, before a person goes into the last type of teaching and learning, which is called Dars Kharij, they have one book that they study by the name of Kifaya. Again, Kifaya is of 3 volumes and it's the final book within the principles of jurisprudence, written by Sheikh Abbas Raza. And again, 3 volumes. It takes at least 2 to 3 years, 12 years plus let's say 3 years, because you might have to come back within these 15 years. There's so many things that I have not the time to say. When I say 15 years, brothers and sisters, it's not like you're there for 15 years. Because usually every year people like me will come back for 3 months, sorry. So after 4 years, one that comes back for 3 months, 1 year is extended in. So 15 years, plus another 2-3 years, you might get married, for example, you have children, you have to go. 20 years. 20 years, brothers and sisters. And you know what the ulama say after 20 years? And I'm not exaggerating. After 20 years, I've heard my own teachers say that after we had finished these studies and we went to Bahth Kharij, which takes another 5 years maybe, we started to get an understanding of what Islam is. We started to get an understanding of what the riwayat are saying, because there's so much in depth what the Quran is saying. We started to get an understanding. After 20 years, we see within universities which field, which science requires so many years. Doctors, engineers, is it 20 years? But when we go to see the doctors, we're like, Dr. Saab, Dr. Saab. We give them so much respect. However, someone who has devoted their life for religion, we don't even say Assalamu alaikum to them, how are you? It's a major problem we are facing, major problem. And now that this has become clear, and I'm not exaggerating when I say I'll just give you the basics here, brothers and sisters. I've run over quickly, my time is gone. Like I said, after 10 years nearly, we are still studying Arabic grammar, brothers and sisters. We still study those books that teach us how to read properly. We go through them again and again, so that we can understand what the Quran is saying, what the Ahadith is saying. So therefore, brothers and sisters, know one thing. That is that when someone is sitting on the pulpit and they are talking about Islam, you guys need to ask yourselves this question. What have they studied? How much of their time have they given to studies? Because believe me, there are no capsules or pills that you can take and you become a Maulana. There are no pills. It requires time, dedication. And as someone famously said, there is a difference, brothers and sisters, between a businessman and a scholar. However, the difference is huge. A businessman, they earn money, and from the money they earn, they give a part of it to support religion. A businessman earns money from the profit that he makes or she makes, they give to Islam. However, a scholar doesn't give out of his money, he gives his life for Islam. Everything. Before I move on to the Masa'ib, just think of this. And salam, wallahi salam upon the wives of scholars. Can you imagine what the women have to go through. And because they have learned from individuals like Kulthum, Sayyidah Zainab and Sayyidah Zahra, brothers and sisters, the patience that they have. And I say this openly, within our own works, I've thanked my own wife for her patience. What wife wants to be distanced from their husband for such long periods of time? Which children don't get to see their fathers for such long period of time, so that we can sit on the pulpit and give you the lessons of religion. So next time you see a scholar, someone who is speaking from the pulpit, know their value, brothers and sisters. Know that they have sacrificed everything to go and study. I'm talking about myself. From a very comfortable position, believe me, never worked a day in my life. Never worked a day in my life. Didn't require any financial help. I left everything. Cars, clothes, money, you name it, I had it. Especially my youth, I'm addressing you. And the reason I changed today's topic, brothers and sisters, because I was informed that right now, from the huge community of 1 million, according to me, the community of Birmingham is 1 million. However, the Shias, however many they may be out of that 1 million, we do not have one brother or sister who is studying in Iran, Iraq, Karbala, Najaf, So what worth do I have speaking about other things when this is vital for us? How long can we continue, brothers and sisters, to make centers that look very nice and are adorned within the inside with nice glass and nice ornaments, but they are not donned and they are not within the capacity of people who are teaching there, who have gone to study and come back to give the religion. The parents especially, it's because you are unaware. You are unaware what it requires and what are the qualifications. There are many questions that parents and those youth, both brothers and sisters that want to go and study, they don't know. And it's because it's not discussed from the pulpit. If we don't discuss these matters, you will never know. You will never know what the painstaking troubles a scholar goes through to sit on this pulpit. And this is not any kind of pulpit, brothers and sisters. This is attributed to the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, now the nights that are coming are those nights which are attributed to Bani Hashim. And even as a reciter, it becomes very difficult to recite. Especially when you're at home and you think about the troubles, the trials and tribulations that were seen by Hussein and the caravan of Hussein. It makes you appreciate that you are amongst those that have been given the tawfiq and to come and cry and remember Hussein. Tonight, brothers and sisters, I want to read the masa'ib and the tragedy of the sons of Zainab. Zainab salamullahi alayha has many titles. Amongst her titles is Ummul Masa'ib. Ummul Masa'ib, the mother of tragedies. Allahu Akbar. And this title was given to her by her grandfather, the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. How many tragedies does a lady have to go through to be given the title of Ummul Masa'ib? Can you think? Can you imagine? Brothers and sisters, Zainab is that woman who cried for all 72. Tonight we cry for her. We remember the way that Zainab cried. She taught us this, that we are sitting from the lessons of Zainab. She paid homage to the 72 martyrs, and tonight we pay homage to her. For any mother, we have seen that if their children cry, the mother cannot bear to even see them cry. And straight away she goes, "Oh, my son or my daughter, what is the problem?" A mother can't bear to see her children crying and in pain. Salam on those mothers that were giving those children that lived in their laps to Abu Abdullah Hussein. Salam upon them mothers. We find that on the 9th of Muharram, as we mentioned yesterday, every mother is talking to their son. The mother of Wahab is talking to Wahab. Layla is talking to Ali al-Akbar. Allah Akbar. Rabab is conversating with Ali al-Asghar. And Zainab is talking to Ona Muhammad. The riwayat say that Imam Hussein on the 9th of Muharram was walking past the tents and he could hear, whilst the mothers were reading their wills and pieces of advice to their sons. "Oh, my son, don't let me down tomorrow. Oh, my son, make me proud." Amongst the women, there was one who said that, "Oh God, I do not have a child. If I had a child, I would sacrifice them for Hussein as well." Abu al-Fadl Abbas hears this from Kulthum and she says, "Oh, Lady Kulthum, do not worry, I will sacrifice myself on your behalf." Allahu Akbar. The books of history say that as these young sons of Zainab are sitting in front of her, she says, "Oh, my lions, tomorrow is the day of sacrifice. And everyone will go out defending our master, your uncle Hussein. But oh, my sons, I know you are warriors. And I know your blood is of that of Ali ibn Abi Talib, and your courage is that of Ja'far. Oh, my sons, when you are fighting," subhanAllah, look what a mother is saying to her own sons, brothers and sisters. "Oh, my sons, I know you are courageous, and I know you will move forward and progress through the battlefield. The name of the enemy of your uncle is Umar ibn Sa'ad. If you get time and it's available, kill him. And oh, my sons, I know that because you are like fierce lions on the battlefield, you will reach the river Euphrates. However, my sons, do not drink water, for the children of Hussein are thirsty." Allahu Akbar. Look what a mother is saying to her sons. "Oh, my sons, tomorrow is the day of sacrifice. And the day of Ashura comes. All of the companions have been killed. Brothers and sisters, now that the nights are getting closer, forgive me if I trouble you with the Masa'ib which is longer. I ask you a question. From Badr to Hunayn, every single battle that Islam has faced, the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam are always the first ones to go out and fight. The Ahlul Bayt are always the first ones to go out and fight. History is in front of you. However, the battle of Karbala, the companions go out to fight. What is the reason for this? Have you ever thought? The ulama say that in those battles before Karbala, staying alive was easy. There was such a cavalry and army, it was difficult to die. Staying alive was easy. However, in Karbala, because of the thirst of 3 days and nights, staying alive was most difficult. There was only a camp of 72 brothers and sisters. That's why the Imam, who is the Imam of mercy, sent out the companions first, so that their thirst could be quenched from the hands of the Holy Prophet. And that's why my Master Hussein was the last to go. He was the most thirsty as well, brothers and sisters. That's why on the 10th of Muharram, Hussein was the last to be martyred. He could not bear to see his companions thirsty. The day of Ashura comes. The companions, one by one, they have gone, and they have all been killed. Now is the time for Bani Hashim. One by one, the youth of Bani Hashim put on their armors and they go out to the battlefield. Sayyidah Zainab in the morning was seeing the events which were taking place. That the companions have gone, some of the Bani Hashim have gone. Her sons come into her tent. She says, "Oh my sons, have you not gone out to defend your uncle? Why have you not gone out yet?" Allahu Akbar. This is Zainab. They say, "Mother, we go to our uncle, however he does not give us permission to go." He says, "O Honor Muhammad, you are those flowers that remind me of Zainab. How can I let you go and fight? How can I let you go?" Zainab calls for Abu Fadl Abbas. She says, "Oh Abbas, take Honor Muhammad and tell Hussein to give them permission." Hussein himself comes with Honor Muhammad into the presence of Sayyidah Zainab. He says, "Oh Zainab, Abdullah is not here. Their father Abdullah bin Ja'far is not here. He is in Medina." Zainab says, "Oh my beloved brother Hussein, when we were leaving Medina, Abdullah said to me that if the circumstances change and the fight and the battle begins, make sure you send our sons before Ali al-Akbar. God forbid that on the day of Qiyamah, Zahra asks us, 'Oh Zainab, oh Abdullah, my Hussein was killed, but your sons were alive.' Oh Zainab sent out Honor Muhammad before the sons of Hussein." Allahu Akbar. Hussein says, "Bismillah." These young sons of Zainab prepare for battle. The riwayat say that Sayyidah Zainab herself dressed them, combed their hair, and made them ready to go out to the battlefield. These young boys were so young that they could not go onto the horses themselves, brothers and sisters. Hussein alayhi salam takes one of the young boys and helps them onto the horse. Abu al-Fadl Abbas takes the other and helps him onto the horse, and they go out into the battlefield. Allahu Akbar. Can you imagine a mother who has to see this? Allah. They go out into the battlefield. These lions and grandsons of Amir al-Mu'mineen fight valiantly, killing a lot of the enemy. One was on the right wing and one was on the left. One of them shouts to the other, "Oh my brother, we will meet into the heart of the army and we will kill the enemy of our uncle Umar ibn Sa'ad." In the midst of whilst they were fighting, brothers and sisters, one of the coward enemies hits a sword on one of their heads. Another one is attacked by a mace and they both fall from their horses onto the ground. They call for their uncle, "Oh our uncle, our final salams. Oh our uncle, we have fallen from our horses and we are on the burning plains of Karbala." As the voices of these children reaches Hussein, he runs out like a lion into the battlefield, killing many of the army in his way, and he reaches the bodies of these nephews of his. Allahu Akbar. The riwayat say that when Hussein arrived, one of them had passed away. And one of them, his lips were trembling. He was on his final breaths, brothers and sisters. He says to his uncle, "Oh uncle, we fought as much as we could and we were thirsty and hungry, but we fought as much as we could. Tell our mother that we reached the river Euphrates, but as she said, we did not drink any water, oh uncle. We lie here thirsty." Allahu Akbar. Brothers and sisters, however, the Masa'ib say the Zainab does not finish here. Hussein takes both of his nephews and walks towards the tents. The riwayat say that their feet were touching the sand of Karbala as Hussein was walking with them. Hussein brings back the body of these two nephews into the tents. And he sees that all the women have come, however the mother of Ona Muhammad, Zainab, has not come. Hussein says to Fidda, "Oh Fidda, tell Zainab to come and bid farewell to her sons." Fidda goes and tells Sayyida Zainab to come. The ulama read that Zainab enters that tent where her sons' bodies were. On this side was Aun and the other was Muhammad. Zainab sits in the middle of her dead sons' bodies, places one hand on the chest of one son and the other hand on the other. She says, "Oh my sons, you are lying here. Who else should I sacrifice for Hussein? My brother is all alone. Who should I sacrifice for Hussein?" Allahu Akbar. The 11th of Muharram came. The women were taken as captives and they moved from Karbala to Kufa and from Kufa to Sham. In Sham, they were freed. They requested for the heads of the Shuhada to be returned to them. One by one, the heads came to the women and those left from the caravan of Hussein. They say that the first head that came was very small. Rumab moves forward and said, "This is the head of Ali, let's go give it to me." The heads kept coming. And the waritha of that head would take the head. Then the heads of Ona Muhammad came. All the women looked at Sayyida Zainab. And Sayyida Zainab lowered her gaze. They asked, Who is the mother of these sons whose heads we have here? After no one replying, the man says, tell me, has the mother of whose these heads are, has she died whilst the tents were burning? Fadda could not bear to hear this, and she says, give me the heads. These are the heads of my master's daughter Ali. She takes the head. Zainab has not remembered her sons from Karbala to Kufa, and from Kufa to Sham. She is freed. She does not remember her sons. Fadda says to her, oh Zainab, oh Lady Zainab, these are the heads of your sons. She says, Fadda, I am the daughter of Ali. When we give charity, we don't take it back. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. This is the daughter of Ali, brothers and sisters. When they are freed from Sham, they return back to Karbala for Arba'in. Sayyidah Zainab, she reads the Marsiyya of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. She reads eulogies for Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. She reads poetry for Ali al-Akbar. If she does not remember anyone, it's her sons. Then from Karbala, she goes to Medina. She goes to the grave of her grandfather, tells her grandfather what the nation of Muslims has done to them and the way that they killed her brother Hussein, how they were thirsty. She weeps and tells her grandfather everything. Then she goes to the grave of her mother. Oh mother, this is what they did to us. Afterwards, the riwayat say that she was with Imam Sajjad. And her husband Abdullah wanted her to come back home. Remember, Sayyidah Zainab has not remembered her sons all this time. However, she was a mother, brothers and sisters. She was a mother. Abdullah bin Ja'far requests the fourth Imam, that, oh Imam Zain al-Abidin, ask your auntie to return back home. Allahu Akbar. The fourth Imam says to her, his auntie, oh Auntie Zainab, your husband is requesting that you come back home. Sayyidah Zainab, who did not remember her sons in Karbala, she did not remember them in Kufa, she did not remember them in Sham, she did not remember them when they returned for Arba'in in Karbala. She did not return back and remember them at the grave of her grandfather. She did not remember Awna Muhammad while she was weeping to her mother. However, as Zainab began to walk towards her house, her heart started to throb. Her sweat started to come out, and she was thinking that this is the house where my sons would live with me. As soon as she enters the courtyard, she sees two small prayer mats on the ground. As soon as she sees them, she says, oh Awna Muhammad, how will I be able to live in this house when you are not in this house? She begins to cry and she begins to wail, remembering them. Abdullah ibn Ja'far says that, oh lady, who are you that have come into my house? This is the house of Zainab. Why have you come in? She said, Abdullah, do you not recognize me? Zainab is Masa'ib. Look at the Masa'ib she has gone through, that her own husband cannot recognize her. Abdullah faced to the floor and she says, oh Abdullah, could you not bear to hear the shahada of your sons? He says, no Zainab, our sons, may they be our ransom for Hussein. He says, oh Zainab, I have a question for you. All the Masa'ib that you have seen, just tell me, what are these signs that I see of ropes on your wrists? Oh Zainab, tell me, what is this? Allah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. مات مع حسين يا حسين